Welcome back to my windowsill garden. It's been a week since I planted the seeds. Today is May 14th and these seeds were planted on May 7th. And many of them have germinated. However, my buckwheat seedlings did have helmet head, and you can clearly see by the shape of these leaves that I'm really glad I removed the helmet heads. There's another seedling that germinated last night that still has its seed. It still has its leaves stuck in the seed, so we're going to remove that in a minute. But yeah, so you can see that yesterday evening I removed the seeds off of these 3 seedlings, and they have started to open up their leaves, and I hope the damage isn't too bad, but the seeds have holes and they're wrinkly and they have brown edges even, so I'm glad I didn't wait any longer. But we'll see if they come back, and I think I've got nothing to worry about. I think they made it. So here's some footage I shot last night where I was trying to remove I was trying to free the leaves out of their helmet heads. So first I decided to soak the seeds in water, or the I don't know what you call this, the seed shells in water to try and soften them up, and then I used some twisters to carefully try and slide off the seeds from the seedlings. Now, I've never done this before, but I watched some YouTube videos, and I think this just seems like the easiest way to go about it. So now I have softened up the shells. Well, we'll just call them shells. And now that I'm trying not to touch the stem. I'm trying not to touch the leaves. I'm trying to just carefully slide them up. There we go. So the shells, the helmet head, the outside part was brown and very tough. Very hard, solid shell. And then there's the inside part, which you can see on the middle one here. It almost looked like there's nothing wrong with this seedling, but there's a white soft inside part that's also a helmet head. I'm just soaking them one more time because that really makes the job easier. So what I think happened, because I've had 4 seeds of my buckwheat sprouts germinate so far, and all 4 of them had helmet heads. So what I think happened is that I did not plant these seeds deep enough, and that's why all of them had trouble getting loose from their seeds. The white one was actually a lot harder to slide off. You notice I edited out a long part of the video. So here's the white seed shell. Let me get the brown one too, so you can compare the two. Okay, so when I edited all the footage, this video was actually an hour long, and I decided to edit some of it out. Because you don't want to see me struggle for an hour. Now, drop that one. Here are the 2 kinds of helmets head that these buckwheat seedlings had. So now it's the next day, and don't mind my dirty fingers. I just got done transplanting my radishes, which I will show you in a minute. We're viewing this out of order. But yeah, the 4th seed germinated, and I actually thought of a new technique. So instead of wetting the seeds first and then using a some Twizzlers to slide them off. I'm actually using the piece of wet cloth to slide off the helmet head, very carefully squeezing and releasing until it softened and I was able to slide it loose. So let's have a look at how the other seeds are doing. There's no sign of life for my Japanese maple tree, and my chili peppers are also not germinating yet. Well, these were planted 5 days ago, so I wasn't expecting anything yet. My cornflower, and right next to that my snow peas, which have 3 seeds germinating so far. And there are some roots showing, growing through the bottom of this container. So it is getting time to transplant these snow peas. But I'm holding out a little while longer now. Pumpkin seeds, nothing germinating yet. And then on the other end, look at that. Look at all those germinated seeds. I'm so happy. There are so many of them. And this is all within a week. So within 7 days, all of these germinated. Here's my lettuce. And then right next to that are my poppies. And I love the different kinds of leaves they're showing. So these poppies are so cute, so tiny and cute. Here's my zucchini, and well, obviously the problem I'm going to have in this windowsill is that there's going to be very little light, and I'm afraid these are getting a bit too long, but we'll see how they do. There's no roots showing on the other end of the container yet, so I think we're still good. I'm not going to transplant them just yet. But yet, light is going to be a big problem. Here's my phacelia. They are so thick compared to the zucchini seedlings. These are big boys. And then right next to the phacelia, there are some radishes growing. I actually knocked the phacelia over onto the radishes by accident. So these seeds were covered in soil until just a minute ago. I'm not sure if I should cover them back up again or if I should let them be. You tell me in the comments if you know. So yeah, here are my radishes, and we are going to transplant these today because they are so crowded together in this little tiny container, and the seeds are showing, but the roots are showing. But not only that, it's also getting a bit moldy down there. Which is a little scary because the mold is right next to the roots, and I'm not sure if that's gonna cause any rotting or. But I think it's just best to transplant these because they're definitely not going to make it if I let them be in this container. So let's put that aside. And then next we've got these buckwheat seedlings that we just. You can see this footage is out of order, but we just got the last helmet head of the buckwheat, and then next to the buckwheat is look at that tiny little piece of chive that is starting to germinate. And then next to the chives are my carrots, and these are looking a little bit dry and we need to water them. It's early in the morning and I just got up, so I'm just going to water them and taking a look at all the seeds. So here's my cabbage, which is very close together but not big enough yet to transplant. There's also no roots at the bottom of this container. And then right next to the cabbage is my dill, and then sorry about the angle, it's my green bean, my single green bean, which is growing a little bit funny. It's like going up and down. And then here's the oregano. Sorry about the angle, there's a wall right here, and I'm trying to show you these 2 little pieces of oregano. Yeah, but it's a little bit difficult with the camera and the wall. So yeah, let's transplant the radishes before the mold gets to the root. So as you can see. I'm not sure, you tell me, is this still okay to transplant? I don't want to contaminate anything, but I'm not sure what I'm doing, to be honest. I've got these containers and I made little holes in the bottom so the water could drain. These are just some mushroom and yogurt containers. And then I've got my very fancy terracotta pot. The store only had one left. So what I think I'm gonna do is I want to plant 4 of these radishes in the big terracotta pot. And these will be my main radishes, and then I'll save 3 of them in case the 4 main ones don't work out in the little mushroom container. Now, I have never transplanted seedlings before in my life. But I read that you are supposed to thoroughly water them, and I'm going to have to be ripping open this container because the roots grew through the container, so I'm definitely making a little bit extra wet just so I can easily tear up this container. I'm not sure if this was too much water, but we'll see how it goes. So let's fill up this pot. I am using my hands and the little yogurt container for that, and this is just regular potting soil. I wasn't sure if I should get the soil mix meant for vegetables or if I should get the potting soil mix, but because these plants will be growing in containers, I decided on just the regular potting mix and not the vegetable soil mixture, because that soil was meant to be used outside. I'm not sure if there's any issues with using outside soil in containers, but yeah, I just chose to use the regular potting mixture. I'm breaking up the lumps. This was quite lumpy soil, and there's pieces of wood stuck mixed in with the soil as well. And yeah, I'm filling up the pot, so there will be 4 in here, and this pot would be deep enough for radishes. I am aware that the mushroom container would not be deep enough, but like I said, that's just the extra radishes in case the 4 radishes in the big pot don't make it. So I'm watering the soil, and this is going to need a little bit more water. I was thinking about getting all the radishes in separate containers in the little yogurt pots, but I cannot eat yogurt fast enough for that to happen. I have not prepared, and it's only been a week, so I've only eaten 2 of these yogurt containers. Adding a little bit extra soil into the pot, and I really wish I had more terracotta pots. They are so pretty, but my garden center only had 1 left. Alright, time to rip open this container, and I am a little scared to do so. We're just going to try our best. These seeds were planted so close together, but I got the first one free, and I'm trying to not touch its root. I'm just holding on by the soil. Look at them, they are way too crowded. They were way too crowded in that little container. But yeah, I got them loose in the end, really carefully. And I've just used my entire finger to poke a hole straight down, and that was just right around the right amount of space I needed for the root. And I planted the entire, what do you call that? I've made it so that only the leaves of the plant would stick out. The stem. I planted the stem inside the pot as well, because I think it got a little bit long with the lack of sunlight and all. Now this soil contains these green balls, and if you know what these are, oh, I dropped it. I'm just dropping helmet heads and seeds all over the place, but these are so tiny. I'm not sure if these are seeds or if it's supposed to be feed for the plants, or some kind of fertilizer. I'm not sure, because I'm no gardener, so if you know, let me know in the comments, please. And I'm not sure if I should remove these from the soil or if I should leave them in, because I found more than one, but I'm not sure if these are accidental seeds that got mixed up in the mix or if this is supposed to be feed. So again, 4 seedlings in the main container and 3 in here. Now look at these 2 poor radishes. They were so entangled. Alright, job done. Now I read that radishes were supposed to be fertilized only once, because they have a short lifetime. They are supposed to be fully grown radishes in 2 or 3 weeks. So there's no much fertilizer needed, just once after transplanting. So here we have some water with liquid fertilizer mixed in, and then this is what the end result looks like. Here you go, and you can see the wood pieces in the soil as well. I'm fertilizing the main pot as well. And again, this is just a liquid fertilizer meant for plants growing in containers. And again, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to get the fertilizer for vegetables or the fertilizer for potted plants, because my plants are both. But I got the one for potted plants just because they are planted in a pot. And what I love about this container, terracotta container, is that it changes color when you water it. It just feels so natural. Alright, done. Now I'm going to have to clean up this mess that I made on my kitchen floor. But let's put them in the windowsill, and I've made a new label for this second container of radishes, because the label that was in the small pot, I put that in the terracotta pot. Alright, and we'll see how they do, and I hope I didn't cause any transplant shock. I made sure that I transplanted these early in the morning, because I read that would help reduce the risk. Now, if you've seen my previous video, you know that I had this Zanzibar that was really in need of a new pot, and as you can see, there's just roots growing all over the place. This thing was stuck, and if I tell you it was stuck and you're thinking, oh, I'll just squeeze the pot a little bit, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing for 3 full minutes in this video. So if you don't want to watch me struggle, just skip 3 minutes ahead, because I thought about editing this part of the video so that it would go a little bit faster, but I didn't, because I wanted to just make clear how much this plant was in need of transplanting. If it looks like this footage is sped up, it's not. I'm just really shaking the plant and trying to get it out, because at first I was just trying to lightly squeeze the plastic container and try and get it out, but I actually ended up having to squeeze really, really badly. And if it looks like this footage is sped up, it's just because I'm shaking the entire thing and my clothing is shaking with it. So one other thing was that I needed both of my hands in order for this plant to come out, so not only did I squeeze the roots way too much, I also accidentally dropped the plant once it finally did come out, because I was squeezing with both of my hands and there was nothing left to catch it with. So let this be a tip to everyone that's raising plants. Make sure you repot them in time or this will happen. And I'm a little bit afraid that this plant is not going to make it, just because I waited with repotting it for so long, and you'll see in a minute, but the roots were so brown because of all the squeezing that was needed in order for me to get this plant out. Now here it's finally coming, it'll fall out in a minute. There we go. Alright, so again, I did a squeeze with both of my hands, so I couldn't catch it, but look at these poor roots. Oh my god, aren't these supposed to be white? I think they are supposed to be white. But here is the final result. This is the day after I transplanted it. I'm still a little bit on the hook on whether it's going to make it or not, but the leaves are looking nice and green and shiny and really dark green in color. And there was only one stem falling over, which I decided to support with a chopstick here because it was leaning on this iron part at first, but then at first I didn't do anything, and the next morning it was already hovering about this much over the edge, so it is regaining its strength, but I decided to just support it a little bit with this chopstick. Let's hope this transplant does well, and let's hope our radishes do well, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.